This is the third lesson in our series on elements, atoms and compounds. Before we move on, have a look at these water molecules and see if you can work out whether they are in solid, liquid or gaseous state. Today's topic is going to be about compounds. Before we go too far, have a look at how dangerous these two elements are, sodium and chlorine.
Are we going?
Throw it like a frisbee. I'm sure
You
got a minute or two before you're in any danger.
Oh, yeah. No, more people are coming.
Everybody down?
Nope, more people are coming.
I think you should walk it out there and gently place it in water.
Now you're talking.
Which way are you throwing it?
Straight out.
Straight out?
I probably throw it that way, huh?
Yeah, throw it that way. Good frisbee.
Ready? All right,
That's
ready?
still sizzling.
3,
2, 1.
Good.
Oh, that's a little. Oh.
And chlorine.
Are we going?
So if we add those two really dangerous elements, sodium and chlorine, together, we get table salt. So when they're joined together, they form a completely new substance with different properties, and this is called a compound. We need to learn today about what compounds are, what a molecule is, some examples of compounds, and whether compounds have different properties from the elements that they're made up of. Before we go on, have a look at this molecule on the right-hand side and count how many different atoms there are in this molecule. When elements combine to make molecules, in the example we had above, we had sodium, which is Na, and we added it to chlorine, which is Cl. So we add them together and we get NaCl, which is common table salt. It's called sodium chloride, or NaCl, but have a look at the ending of this word chlorine. When chlorine is joined to another element, it changes its name to chloride. Here's another example. This is N2O. So it's got 2 nitrogens and 1 oxygen. Nitrous oxide is N2O, and it's also called laughing gas or dinitrogen oxide. It's important to remember that the proportion of the 2 atoms in the molecule are important for its properties. So for this one, we have 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen, and that makes water. And for the next one down, we have 2 hydrogens and 2 oxygens, and that makes hydrogen peroxide. Water obviously sustains all life, and hydrogen peroxide bleaches your hair. So they are very different properties. You need to remember 2 important rules. If you have many identical atoms together, that makes an element. If you have many identical molecules together, that makes a compound. I'd like you to pause the video in a minute and write down the atoms that are in each of these compounds. So pause the video and just write down the atoms in each of these. Fine. Here are the answers. Check your answers against those quickly, and then we can move on. Online, there's a really nice animated program from an organization called FET, and you can use this animated program online to make different molecules. It's a bit like having the set that I was using, but it's just animations on screen. So if you use single, for example, you can pick some atoms out of a box, join them together to make a molecule, and then have a look and see which one it is. And with Playground, there are loads and loads of different atoms you can choose from to make any compound or any molecule you like. That, I have said, takes a while to load, so be patient. But the next thing I'd like you to do is to do this true or false question. So read the statements and just write the true or false next to them. So these statements are about elements, and these statements are about compounds. So pause the video and do that now, please. Okay, I hope you enjoyed doing that. Here are the answers. So look at yours and check whether they are correct or not. Remember, you can always go over this in the PowerPoint that's on EduLink. I wonder how well we did. Do you think you know confidently what a compound is and what a molecule is, and some examples of compounds, and the fact that compounds have different properties from the elements that they are made of? How did you feel about this lesson? Are you happy, not so happy, or somewhere in between? If you're not certain about things and you don't feel confident, please just go back and look at the video again, or look at the PowerPoint again, and see how you get on. Thank you.